Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast that hopes that Vince doesn't fuck up the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. It's Lost in the Midcard. We are back after taking a little break last week. We are on that train to Survivor Series. The go-home shows are next week. So is our preview and prediction show. We're recording a day early, but you're still hearing it on the normal Thursday, so we will not be talking this week's NXT, but we will talk about last week's NXT, which was a fairly decent show as well. Lots of news to cover, including a mega match announced for Wrestle Kingdom. But first, thank you to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. What you got to do is search for Lost in the Midcard, hit that subscribe button, that way you know every time a new episode comes your way. Typically every Thursday and most Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can also subscribe to us on the Twitter, or on the YouTube. And the links to that are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Go to the notes section there to find our links. Also on the Twitter, you can find our links to the subscriptions on our pinned tweet, as well as us sharing a lot of the great tweets from around the wrestling world at LITMC Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on the Twitter at JBHuskers. As always, my co-host, he is on the Twitter at Raw If Showtime, is Mr. Matt Black. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Nice to see Vince McMahon in clear-ass panic mode. Doing a bunch of title changes before a pay-per-view that clearly he's starting to realize no one gives two shits about. So he's doing everything in his power to make people care. So here's one more week. Let's see what he does. Let's see what fuckery comes about on Raw and SmackDown next week.
Well, we already think one more title is going to change hands next week.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What do you think? Why is he panicking? I mean, I thought
SmackDown Live lost over 500,000 viewers last week.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think that it shows a general disinterest in the product right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vince is starting to realize that people are not happy with the way he's booked stuff, and he's realizing that Survivor Series that he thought was going to be a big-ass attraction no one gave two fucks about, and now he's in panic mode trying to figure out what he can do to make people care about this show.
Well, and I've heard from Meltzer that internally they weren't even looking at this match as a big deal, Jinder and Brock, and I'm like, how can they not look at the first ever Universal Champion versus WWE Champion match as a big deal? They weren't looking at it that way, which was very odd. But that's a clear signal of everything that's wrong with the current product. Yeah, that
they would take basically the world champion from Raw, the world champion from SmackDown, have them face each other in a match which they deemed, using you quote, not a big deal.
Yeah,
to me, that says everything you need to know about what's wrong with this product right now.
So you think Vince seeing the SmackDown numbers, which I believe were the lowest since June?
No, dude, they were lower since before. I think these were their lowest. I think these were the lowest SmackDown Live ratings since they've started going live on USA.
Let me look here. I got them right here. I remember because I did an article on the ratings from last week. And I could have sworn that June was worse. It was the worst since June. I got them right here, so let's take a look here. Obviously, they dropped like a rock. 2.119 million, down from 2.699 million for the November 1st edition of Raw. And yes, June 13th was the actually June 13th was the worst on of the year. June 13th didn't crack 2.1 million.
Was that during the NBA Finals?
Might have been, and also the SmackDown before SmackDown 900 didn't even reach 2 million. That's the worst one since the brand split. Is the November 8th edition of SmackDown in 2016, just before SmackDown 900, that only got 1.9 million. So this looks to be this last week's Raw. Just quick glance. It looks like it is. It would be the third lowest since the brand split, at least. So, with those two beating it, I think those are the only two that beat it for a lower number. So, yeah, very interesting. So, you think that is the sole cause, or because I mean, we both know that it almost seems like Vince could care less about expectations into a pay-per-view because of the model of the network now, but did that have anything to do with it too, or do you think it was just solely that both Raw and SmackDown dropped like a rock last week?
Well, both dropped both dropped badly, but SmackDown was much worse than Raw, and I think it's I honestly think at this point the fans are finally sending Vince a message that we're tired of your shit.
Yeah.
And you want to sit here and you want to post the biggest quarter that your company's ever done because of all your sponsors and all your live gates and your WWE Network subscribers and all that shit. Well, that ain't gonna mean anything if you scare off all your hardcore fans that you've got left. And people are leaving. People are getting sick of it. So WWE needs to be careful right now because, you know, pretty much at this point they're biting the hand that feeds them. So it's not a good time, honestly, to be a WWE fan. I can't remember like within the last week, over the last 7 days, like not counting Styles winning the title tonight. Yeah. But let's just say from Monday of yesterday till Monday of last week, I can't remember a week span where I was more disinterested in the WWE product than I have been this past week.
Well, that was one of the reasons why we didn't do a show last week.
Because I had no desire to talk about the product.
Yeah.
At all.
It would have been a one man. It would have been a one man show when it came to talking about Raw and SmackDown because
I didn't watch them.
Yeah, and you didn't care. You read what happened and But you read what happened tonight and we're like, oh, okay. You read what happened at the end of Raw and you're like, oh, okay. So a little warmer towards Survivor Series now, right?
No, honestly, I hated most of Raw from what I read, and that's why I didn't even tune in. The only reason I tuned into the end is because I knew, so I would know when to throw out the tweet that I thought of when I read the initial thing that afternoon.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it appropriate to put a tweet out like that
to spoil
it in the afternoon. There's a lot of people that don't want to read those spoilers.
Yeah.
And don't want to know that kind of stuff ahead of time. So I wanted to make sure that I posted that tweet at an appropriate time of when that was going down. Like I had no desire to watch Raw last night. I didn't. I've had next to no desire to watch the WWE product as a whole in the last week.
There were some very.
It sucks because I've been a wrestling fan since I was like little, like 4 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a WWF fan. I was back then, and to the point where they've just browbeaten me to the point where, you know, I just didn't even really want to watch wrestling in the last week. Says to me volumes about how they're currently booking their product, and it sucks and it's disappointing. But you know, there's not a damn thing that any of us can do about it. And that's the worst part to me, is that we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
The people that piss me off more than anyone are the people who whine and bitch and moan alongside me on social media about things we hate about the product and stuff that we wish Vince would change, and things that could be done to make the product better. But when WWE comes through your local area, you're the first person in line to buy tickets and, line Vince's wallet. So your complaints really don't mean a damn thing anyway. And if your excuse is you're going to teach Vince a lesson by chanting at his show, you're the type of fan that Vince just laughs all the way to the bank with.
Yeah.
Thanks for the money, Mark, is pretty much all Vince would think at that point. He doesn't care what you chant at his show. He already has your fucking money.
Yeah.
And that's why, honestly, I have not been to a main roster WWE show since the Raw at the night after WrestleMania in Dallas. Every wrestling event I've attended since then has been either NXT, Ring of Honor, or independent shows. I have not attended a single main roster WWE event since then, and I've been waiting, almost begging for these idiots to give me a reason to go. And instead of improving since Dallas, to me they've only gotten worse. And it's really disheartening, and it's really sad. And I would much rather sit on my couch and spend nothing than to go to an event and leave disappointed, knowing I spent a whole bunch of money that I didn't need to spend for a show I could have watched for free sitting on my ass at home.
Well, from one WWE product to another, talking with Matt over the past month that the game has been out, I finally picked up WWE 2K18. I have basically relegated myself to just play my career, and so far I've had a lot of fun with it. In talking with you, it seems like we've witnessed different things in my career, which is cool.
Yeah, I do think that's cool. It definitely makes it so you can play through a couple times to run into different stuff. And that's all. To me, that's always a good replay value in a game.
Yeah. Yeah, I've come across some interesting storylines, and there's times where there's lulls in it, in the story too. But and of course the typical fighting the authority. I mean,
The only part of my career that I don't enjoy is when you run into a month where they're literally not doing anything with you, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, go check the whiteboard for your match." And
yeah.
it's like a month of that, and it means nothing. Legit. Like 1 month I tested it. I started every match. I quit. I quit the match because it just defaults in a loss or whatever. And I walk through the back and I go to my car for the next week. And I do the same thing for the entire month just to get to the next month where there's a storyline. Those matches mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Except
for maybe giving yourself some extra virtual currency.
Yeah.
That's all it's for. Like, literally, if you're in a month where you're not in a storyline, my tip, start, quit match, walk to your car, start, quit match, walk to your car, and just get to the next month where you have a storyline. Because, honestly, those matches mean absolutely nothing, and you're wasting your time with them, and it's better just to get to the meat and the potatoes of the story. I wish 2K could have fleshed it out to the point where you had a story every month of my career, which I think would have been a lot nicer. But, beggars can't be choosers at this rate. I still think it's a huge step in the right direction from my career mode last year. And overall, I know there's a bunch of bugs and glitches, and I know this stuff needs to be fixed. You're preaching to the choir. I want to see this stuff fixed just as badly as you guys do. But at the end of the day, the game sounds, looks, and plays better than any WWE 2K game yet. So for me, overall, it's a step in the right direction, and I hope the franchise continues to get better. And I hope with 2K19 that 2K stops being a bunch of money-grubbing bastards and actually allows the dev team time to finish the game instead of releasing an unfinished product, which they have to throw patch after patch after patch at to try to actually fix and get the game up to the standard of which they wanted it to be prior to release.
Yeah, and yeah, like one thing I kept coming. I went like a month straight of doing run-ins for Bray Wyatt. I'm like, again?
Oh, the side quests. Yeah, I've done. I avoided those at all cost, just because I just to me I liked the idea of side quests at first, but then it was all just like cut a promo or go attack somebody, and I'm just like, all right, I'm bored with this.
One side quest I
stopped talking to people.
One side quest I had was Becky Lynch challenged me to have a 4-star match. I'm like, okay. I thought she meant to. Okay, you know, she wants me to get a 4-star match. It was against her. I thought it was like, oh, she wants to see me perform at a.
You fought Becky Lynch?
Yeah, it was against her.
Oh, dude, you should have taken pictures of that and put that online.
I should have. No, maybe I'll come across the side quest again.
Because there's not supposed to be intergender matches in this game.
Yeah, it was.
And people try to figure out ways to exploit that every year to figure out how to do it. If there was a legit glitch in my career where you had to wrestle Becky Lynch, this is the first I've heard about that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing about that.
I accepted it, just like, oh, I thought she wanted me to deliver for the crowd with whoever I'm facing next week, not knowing that, oh, she's challenging me to have a 4-star match against her. Okay. Now if that happens again, I'll make sure to.
Oh my God!
It probably won't even happen ever again.
No, that's a once in a lifetime glitch, dude.
Oh well. The WWE product is not getting you excited, Matt. How about the New Japan Pro Wrestling product?
Well, they sure as fuck surprised the hell out of me. I'll give them that much.
Holy shit! 2 days ago,
did not expect to wake up to that.
2 days ago, Power Struggle and IWGP United States Champion Kenny Omega took on Trent Beretta. And after dispatching Beretta in a very competitive match, Omega got on the microphone, put over Beretta as a good competitor, and he goes, now is usually the time that someone comes to challenge me for Wrestle Kingdom. And then he starts talking in Japanese, insulting everybody, how nobody can challenge him, and he's beating everybody. All of a sudden, an ominous countdown shows up on the screen, and there is none other than Chris Jericho holding a picture of Kenny Omega and ripping it in half. And Kenny was not fazed at all. He had a big smile on his face as he clearly accepts the challenge of Chris Jericho, his first match outside of the WWE since 1999. He is going to challenge for the IWGP United States Championship when he faces Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12, January 4th at the Tokyo Dome. The two have been going back and forth on Twitter hilariously. I've enjoyed it all. And I thought this was just to set up Kenny Omega match on Jericho's cruise next year. Because, you know, Marty Scurll signed on for the cruise. The Bucks are signed on for the cruise. I didn't think Wrestle Kingdom, Matt. What? Apparently, the talks have been going on since August, according to Dave Meltzer, that Jericho wanted to do something that nobody expected, and, well, hello. I don't think we ever thought we'd ever see Jericho and Omega because...
Well, the problem is this is what happens when WWE pisses Jericho off. Yeah,
and tell them what happened there.
The cruise that Jericho is running next year is all financially funded by him. Mm-hmm. If this thing doesn't go over well and it doesn't sell out or whatever, it's on him. This is all financially funded by him. So he had an idea where he wanted to have NXT talents on this tour, on this cruise thing, and they were going to do NXT matches, like a live NXT event on the cruise. And WWE basically had zero interest in working with Chris in doing this, and that's where, Jericho then turned to Ring of Honor and got the Sea of Honor tournament to go on his cruise instead with a whole bunch of ROH talents. And now, clearly, due to everything else that has occurred since then, now Chris Jericho's wrestling in New Japan in January.
Yeah.
So...
And, I mean, if I remember correctly, Jericho just basically has a rolling contract, so he probably isn't contracted with the WWE at this moment.
No, he's not. He is a free agent.
Yeah.
If he wasn't a free agent, he wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, it's like he was like on a constant rolling 30-day contract is kind of how Jericho's contract would go. My God, 6 matches for Wrestle Kingdom 12 already. They're all title matches that have been announced, and it's insane. I mean, all 6 of these matches could steal the show easily. It's insane how stacked this card is already, and then you add Omega and the Alpha, Chris Jericho. It's insane. Another match that got announced is for the Ring of Honor World title, Cody Rhodes and Kota Ibushi, one day after the Power Struggle event. Cody says he's going to put up his title against Ibushi, so the ROH World Championship is on the line. IWGP Junior Heavyweight tags are on the line. The Bucks try to regain them against Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo. A fatal 4-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. This one's going to be amazing. The champion Marty Scurll takes on Takahashi, Kushida, and Will Ospreay. For the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, the champion Tanahashi defends against Jay White. And the big one for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the World, Kazuchika Okada against Tetsuya Naito. Holy shit, Matt! And there's going to be more added to the card.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great show. Wrestle Kingdom always is. It's there. It's pretty much New Japan's WrestleMania, and for good reason. It's gonna be a hell of an event.
And
for sure.
Let's go from Wrestle Kingdom to Bound for Glory.
Do we have to?
I'm not. It's gonna take like a minute, maybe.
All right, good.
Mike Johnson said it best on PW Insider on his recap of Bound for Glory. Impact has their chance to make a statement, but instead does the same old thing.
He worded that nicer than I would have.
Yeah. I'm just looking through the card. I mean, I wasn't interested in any of this except for Team Impact and Team AAA. Yeah, that looked good. Team Impact.
I heard the match wasn't good.
Sami Callihan makes his debut. Cool. He's a hell of a talent. Gail Kim, obviously the legend of the Knockouts division, with her probably final title run with the company. So congrats to Gail Kim there.
Well, it's not a final title run. It's the Trish Stratus treatment. That was her final match, dude. She's done.
Oh, was that her final match? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I heard that.
Remember when Trish won the title on her last night with the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was basically what this was.
Yeah, and I heard from the broadcast. I mean, they basically didn't show much celebration at all. They went to some backstage thing,
which really fucking dumb. I heard the same thing. The Gail will have a goodbye speech on Impact on Thursday. It's not a storyline. She's really done. She's relinquishing the championship. So I guess they're gonna have a tournament for it or something. But yeah, that was her retirement match. She's done.
I didn't hear much about this, but kind of an MMA theme. King Mo and Stephen Bonner from the MMA world. Mo joins Lashley as they tag up to take on Moose and Bonner in the Six Sides of Steel. And then your main event, Eli Drake, dummy, yeah, still champion, yeah, but
can you really be happy about that though? For the way that the finish of the main event was booked,
I'm happy
seriously.
About it. I'm happy about it for the simple fact that he still holds the title. That's the only reason why I'm happy. He still holds the title.
Dude, this was TNA's WrestleMania.
And TNA
that's
did
the finish
TNA.
that's the finish they gave to the main event.
TNA doing TNA things over Book Central.
Dude, it's just it's absolutely insanity to me that this company, for as long as they've been in existence, and for as many creative regimes as they have gone through, that they really, I really want to meet the person who could look me in the eye and tell me that the booking of their main event on their biggest show of the year on Sunday was a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd really want to meet him so I could probably punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Because you're out of your fucking mind. I don't understand what this company is trying to do.
I mean,
I really and truly do not understand how they think they're going to bring fans back with shows like that. I don't understand.
And how much did you have to shell out for this?
Oh man, I didn't even look, to be perfectly honest.
And they give you that kind of a bullshit finish.
I'm assuming anywhere between 40 to 50 if I had to guess.
And then they give you that bullshit finish.
I mean, it's literally you're taking the hardcore TNA fan, because let's face it, that's the only fan left that's watching, and you legit just kick them in the nuts.
Yeah.
Like, sooner or later you ain't gonna have anybody left.
So yeah, I told you it'd take a minute.
I don't know. It irks me. Like, professional wrestling as a whole right now is irking me. Like, New Japan's doing shit right. You know, ROH for the most part's putting on a pretty entertaining product, although I feel like ROH's roster, no offense, I hate to even say this, I feel their roster's a little thin at the moment.
Well,
it's clearly WWE's to blame for that. I feel ROH could really benefit from another 6 to 8 people, joining their roster and really fleshing that thing out.
So basically, basically Vince buying Impact.
Shut up.
And six of some of their better stars that don't want to go to WWE go to Ring of Honor, and ta-da.
Yeah, they're still putting on a more entertaining product than the WWE main roster. I mean, that's for damn sure. But it just.
What did you think of Jimmy Jacobs on for Bound for Glory?
He didn't do anything.
What is going to happen?
I heard he's like a producer for the company now.
Well, I guess he was the guy behind the list of Jericho for the most part, according to Chris Jericho. So maybe he can bring some ideas and say, hey, that's a bullshit finish. Don't do it. Well,
clearly, no one listened to him on Sunday. So
it was his first. Who's going to listen to a guy on his first night of the job? Come on.
I don't know. He's a guy coming straight over from the WWE. Maybe you should listen to what he has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's legit in the last couple of years worked for WWE and Ring of Honor, the two companies that have consistently beat your ass on a week in and week out basis. Yeah, maybe you should listen to what the guy has to say.
I mean, the only thing he hasn't worked on that's beaten their ass on a consistent basis is Total Divas. In probably a long list of firsts that are coming over the course of the next year, Kurt Angle wrestles his first WWE live event in over 11 years in Birmingham, England this Tuesday, as he filled in for Triple H and joined Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose as rejoining the Shield to take on the trio of Cesaro, Sheamus, and Samoa Joe. Some big news though for Impact, and Matt's immediate reaction was, crap, they're making me watch Impact again. But they have landed a superior talent for the Knockouts division. Hanaya the Huntress will be debuting at this week's television tapings in Ottawa, Ontario. You might know, if you listen to our show, we've talked about Hanaya before. Some great matches with Mandy Leon. Matt's seen him in person. Those great matches. Broke into the business in 2011 with Chikara. So, Matt, a hell of a signing here, considering they've lost Taya and Gail Kim retiring. Getting Hanaya is a hell of a signing here, isn't it?
Well, they didn't lose Taya; they lost Taryn.
Oh, Taya
is still with the company.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But they can't use her until they're back in the States to tape Impact in mid to late January. The whole story that I'm hearing about that is
I heard she wouldn't be able to get back into the country.
Well, that was the worry. There was worry because she's a Canadian resident, like she was born in Canada or something like that, and there's some kind of like, even though she's married to Johnny Impact, there's some kind of thing with her like citizenship in the United States or something. And like apparently Michael Elgin had the same issue, and that's what cost him his first run of Ring of Honor World Champion. He went into Canada, tried to get out, but he couldn't get out, and they basically like stripped him of the title, or I don't even remember how. I don't know if they stripped him or if they had him job it while he was there. Or I can't really remember how they did it, but the same fear from what happened. Elgin was worried about Taya. They were basically worried she'd be stuck in Canada. So they basically are like, all right, well, we're gonna keep you in the States where you're safe, from not getting stuck in a country, and it will work with you when we come back to the United States in January.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. For some reason, I mean, maybe I just was reading it this way. For some reason, I thought they were going to be taping in Ottawa for the foreseeable future. I didn't realize it was a one-time thing.
No. They're taping this week, and they return to Orlando in mid to late January.
Back
for their next set of tapings. Yeah, as far as I know, it'll be back in the Impact Zone mid to late January. And when they do that, Taya will be back, and she'll be working those tapings.
Where you could get paid to watch Impact Wrestling.
Well, not in Orlando, but in Ottawa right now you can.
Wow. I'm watching Tyler Bate lose clean to Enzo. I don't know if it was clean or not, but
I really hope it wasn't clean.
It looked clean from the replay. What are your thoughts on Hanaya getting signed with Impact?
I'm excited to see what they do with her with the title vacant. That's pretty good. See what the hell they do with the championship. Taking Taryn Terrell away was basically my last straw on watching this product on a weekly basis through the power of DVR. I know she wasn't she wasn't used at the tapings yesterday.
They're taping for like 4 days though.
Yeah, they're taping like 4 or 5 days this week. Yeah. I think it might be Monday through Thursday they're taping.
What is Ring of Honor's Women of Honor, is that progressed at all or just stagnant?
Well, define progressed.
Well, as a brand that
to me it doesn't progress until there's a championship.
Yeah,
if they don't pick up if the Women of Honor don't get a championship title in 2018, I don't feel that they've progressed nearly as far enough as they need to.
Are they? I haven't had, just with my busy schedule, I haven't seen Ring of Honor television in a long time. Are they even on there at all?
No, they're normally saved for their own Women of Honor specials, which I also think is a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they need
that. I mean, keeping them separated is not. It's not progression, in my opinion.
No, and I also feel like maybe they feel like they don't have enough time with a 1 hour show every week. But at the same token, NXT can do it.
Yeah.
And I think it would actually tremendously improve Ring of Honor's overall roster. If they did mix the women in there on a weekly basis, because maybe their roster wouldn't seem so
bare bones.
Bare bones. I hate to use the word bare bones. It's not. It feels like they're missing like a handful of guys to really stack that roster properly. But if they were to mix the women in there and put the women's division on their TV weekly, maybe that would fix their roster problem immediately.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be overexposing the same guys every single week.
Yeah.
Because you'd have the women to balance out the product on a weekly basis. I feel like we just, honestly, JB, I feel like we just figured out Ring of Honor's a talent roster problem.
All right,
right here on the show.
Delirious will tell you where to send the checks. I've told Matt this. I'm gonna make a conscious effort to get back into, try to find some time. It's hard during football season too. That's the other thing. But to watch Ring of Honor and even Impact Wrestling again, because I have not even gotten to enjoy Eli Drake as my Impact Global Champion. How long before they drop the Global from that title?
Are they still calling it that?
So far, I think they're still calling it the Impact Global Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I stopped. Dude, I'm not even kidding you. I stopped watching. So
yeah.
And probably right around the time I stopped watching is right around the time the whole GFW thing fell through. So, I follow it, I read up on it, so I know what's going on. But I don't watch the product. But I will definitely check out. I'll check out Impact. I'll probably fast forward DVR through this week's, and then I'll actually pay more attention. When Hanaya debuts for the Knockouts division and see what they do from there.
And it was announced
hopefully they don't fuck it up.
Yeah. It was just announced the other day that the last edition of Tough Enough, the winner, Josh Brettel, released from his contract with the company. He has not been used in a long time and has not even been training at the Performance Center. He's apparently had concussion-related issues as well. He was renamed Bronson Matthews after winning his WWE contract for $250,000, and that's about all they did with him.
Come on, take the money and run.
Yeah, that's what him and Sarah did. So, your 11th place finisher, your 9th place finisher, and your 3rd place finisher are on NXT right now, but your 2 winners are not.
Honestly, if WWE ever thinks about doing it Tough Enough again, they should really just do should just do a reality series called Tough Enough Redemption.
Yeah. And
have it follow the lives of Patrick Clark and Mandy Rose and Daria. Damn it, I'm blanking on her freaking Sonya Deville.
Yeah.
And just follow them around and like a reality show thing, like their time in the Performance Center and them going on the live events on the road.
That'd be a great WWE. That'd be a great WWE 24.
Yeah, exactly. But make like a weekly series out of it.
Yeah.
And really get people to buy in and fall in love with these characters as people. So when they finally do something with Sonya Deville, when they finally bring Mandy to weekly NXT television, people are immediately want to get behind these guys because they've kind of like watched them grow in front of their very eyes. And I feel like that would be a much more beneficial thing to do than to ever run another Tough Enough, because let's face it, no Tough Enough winner has ever worked out. So what's the point?
Didn't John and Morrison win?
I thought did he win, or was he a runner-up? I thought he was a runner-up.
We'll have to look.
I thought that was the year Matt Capitelli won.
It might have been. Oh, I got it right here.
Like, the only good things that ever come out of Tough Enough are the losers somehow end up getting something good out of it. The winners never get anything.
Nitty and Maven kind of panned out in the very first one. But I mean, they at least made their main roster, and Maven with that glorious.
Yeah, but they put those guys on TV immediately.
Yeah, that was probably
there was no there was no grace period for those guys. They were like, you're on TV right now.
Season 2, Jackie Gaeta won Season 2. Linda Miles, she was barely on with the Basham brothers. Kenny King was the runner-up in Season 2. John Hennigan won it, Season 3. Him and they had 2 winners.
Okay, Capitelli won too then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but I mean, he's not with WWE now.
No, Daniel Puder won Season 4.
Yeah, the season with The Miz. That was a great decision. That was a great decision, WWE. Good job there.
And Mitch from the Spirit Squad was in that, and Ryan Reeves, you might know him as the Ryback.
Who's that?
Season 5, the infamous season of Ariane being the first one eliminated by Stone Cold, and then she makes it. That's kind of funny.
And she's the only one from the show that did, right?
Yeah. But Marty the Moth from Lucha Underground, he was on that season, and Ivelisse was also on Lucha Underground, but Andy Levine, he was terrible. He didn't make it. But yeah, a couple of Lucha Underground in there. Other than that, just Cameron. So going back to that, and of course, there's another one we can add. Chelsea Green finished 7th place. She is on Impact. So
and dating Zack Ryder.
Yeah, and woo woo, and Mandy Rose finished 3rd. Patrick Clark finished 9th, and Daria finished 11th. So very interesting. And as we mentioned, the Young Bucks have been added to the cruise of Jericho. Floated on, man. I want to go on that cruise so bad.
Yeah, I'm considering it myself.
Oh, I would. Oh my God!
I've never gone on a cruise before. I'm considering going. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I'm definitely considering it.
Billy Corgan announces the first ever NWA Championship match under his ownership, and it'll be current champion Tim Storm taking on former Impact Wrestling champion Nick Aldis, who's better known as Magnus. That'll be set to take place on November 12th, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I was like, I did a little watching of the 10 Pounds of Gold, and I didn't realize their champion Tim Storm, he's like in his 50s.
Are you serious?
Yeah. NWA's champion, he's in his 50s.
Well, I hope he beats Nick Aldis.
Yeah, you don't like him, do you?
No, I do not.
I'll send you his. I mean, he looks like
he got really bitchy with me on Twitter a year or two ago, so I've kind of been like, dude, if you have that set of skin, I really don't want to be a fan of your stupid ass.
I sent you Tim Storm's. He's 52, but he looks like an NWA champion from Texas. I mean, he looks like a wrestler from like the territorial days. If you take a look at him there.
Yeah, you can definitely tell he's in his 50s.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I hope he beats I don't want Aldis representing the NWA.
What did you say to Magnus to get him all bitchy?
It was during one of those stretches where not NXT, where TNA taped TV for like 3 months, and he was talking about his title match with Jeff Hardy that night, and on Twitter he's like, "This is the biggest night of my career." And I retweeted and quoted it and said, "Didn't this happen a month ago?" And he got really whiny and bitchy about it and sent his goon squad, all 12 of his fans, after me. So I blocked him. I'm pretty sure he blocked me too, but I don't give a fuck. I am not in Magnus Nick Aldis, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I'm not a fan of his. I am a fan of his wife, however. So it is what it is.
And later on in the show, we'll talk about his former tag team partner as well. Another legend at the Performance Center last week in Orlando, Florida, the legendary Les Thatcher was in the performance center, helping out the guys there, getting ready, getting trained.
Great idea.
Yeah,
One of the best people they could bring in. Honestly,
I think he trained Dean Ambrose.
He's trained a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean on the roster now.
Yeah, I think honestly, if WWE were smart and Les wanted to move from Ohio down to Florida, I think he would be a tremendous coach and pickup for the Performance Center.
Yeah. Yeah, his school is in Cincinnati, so obviously Dean's young days, he trained there. Dean, I believe the story was Dean was 16 and wanted to wrestle, and Les said, nope, you're gonna put up the ring and mop the floors, you're gonna wait till you're 18, something like that, and Dean kept pressing him, and finally Les gave in. But yeah, it's a pretty cool story of the training school with Dean Ambrose in Cincinnati. Last week, Paige sent out a tweet. Big shout out to Mandy Rose, Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, and Ruby Riott for kicking her butt the past few weeks as Paige gets ready. And, rumors were that she was returning this week. That didn't happen. But
see, I didn't hear that from anywhere. Like, I know that was social media buzz.
Yeah.
But, I didn't hear from anybody that Paige was returning this week. So
maybe it was just because of the fact that she tweeted that on November 1st, last Wednesday. Maybe that was just it. People are like, oh, okay, she'll come back. I wonder if she comes back at Survivor Series, gets involved in the 5-on-5.
I think she returns afterwards.
Yeah. I hope.
I mean, unless for some reason they're going to put her in the 5th spot on the Raw team for Survivor Series.
Because that's still open,
I mean, I find that would be weird due to all creative plans I've heard for her return was putting her on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't see why you just don't put Bayley in that spot and move on. I knew they left it open last week. But was not last week, but it was a couple days last day. Whatever. I got all my shit mixed up right now.
Yeah,
but with Fox,
yesterday,
with Fox asking Sasha to be in and ignoring Bayley, I just feel like Bayley is going to get the 5th spot. It just makes sense for her to be in it. Like she's too much of an important cog in the Raw Women's division not to be in there.
I think she beats Alicia Fox's ass in a match on Raw, and Fox almost does the exact same thing she did this week after she tapped out to the bank statement. I bet Bayley just beats the shit out of her and beats her way into the team. We will see. And for you fans of the Bellas, and if you've watched Total Divas, you know that the Bellas have been working on their brand Birdie B, and now the company has officially launched, and the WWE website announced it as well. And basically some activewear is I think what they kind of sell there, the old Birdie B. And on the tour of England, another interesting name joined the Shield, and none other than Triple H. And Matt, did you see the video of the suicide dives and Triple H?
The lack of suicide dive.
Oh my God, that was just. I felt sorry for Trips. There's Rollins and Dean diving out of the ring, and here comes Trips kind of slowly sauntering out of the ring. But that video was just priceless. Poor Triple. I'm gonna be saying
ain't nothing poor about him, brother.
That's true. He married rich. This is going to be a running theme throughout the headlines. Gone from Impact Wrestling. Actually, it's been a theme for this year. But even more. Brian Hebner and Earl Hebner are gone. Actually, every single referee is gone. Did you hear about this story?
Yes, I heard one of the referees that worked Bound for Glory looked like they were 13 years old.
That too, but the reason is that they didn't want to work in Canada?
No, to Impact informed them, we're not going to be bringing you guys in.
Oh, they just told them that they weren't bringing them in. Okay.
Because we're going to be using local talents up here, and they're all like, all right, well, if you're not bringing this in, give us our release. We're done. Yeah, and so they got all their basically the refs as one said, You want to fuck with us, we're going to fuck with you. Give us our releases and let us go. And Impact agreed and let them all go.
Yep.
That's how it happened.
The Hebners, Robert Moore, Stifler, they're all gone. Marche Rocket, is that how you say it? Marche?
Yeah.
Worked in the X Division. He's gone. He gone. Who else could be gone? Oh, yeah, Stifler, as we just said. There's more. Just wait. If I can get to it.
How can they release the man that's had so many multi-year contracts? They're no longer going to be able to say that Bram has signed a new deal with Impact Wrestling.
Yeah,
He's gone. He's
Bram
gone. Bram is gone.
Bram announced
Woe
on
is
Twitter.
me. Bram! Come back, Bram!
Yeah, Matt was never a fan of Bram, if you've listened to the show. The times we did talk about Impact Wrestling on a regular basis. Former tag team partner of Magnus. Actually, I thought that was a good feud with those guys. Even though you hate Bram, I thought that was some good stuff there from those guys. But Bram announcing that he's been gone. I mean, Bram, Eddie Kingston. I mean, those guys hadn't been used since like February. And there's 2/3 of the DCC. Maybe the other guy of the DCC will be gone soon.
I hear he's done this week.
Come back.
I have heard a lot of stories telling me that by the time these tapings are done this week, that he'll be gone.
Come back. Come back, Mr. Storm.
Well, let's see if the offer still stands.
I'm sure it does.
We'll know.
All right, the big announcement.
You heard the story, right?
Of when he left to take the big deal with NXT or with TNA.
It's a big deal. Well, it wasn't really a big deal. It was the smarter deal for him to take it at the time.
Okay, what was the story?
WWE offered him a deal for NXT. The problem was, that was right when NXT was starting to pick up their touring, and he was told he'd be on the road 150 days of the year or something like that, and he was working with someone with his wife about having a kid or something along those lines, something personal with his family, and it was just something he couldn't commit to being away that long for, so he chose to go back to TNA, which has no being on the road. Maybe you're on the road 5 days of the year.
Yeah.
And then that's why he went back to TNA. But his deal, as far as I'm hearing, I hear when they're done taping this week, his time with the company's done too. So it'll be interesting to see if the offer from WWE still stands and he can go back there and return to NXT or what. It'll be I'm very curious to see how this all works out for James Storm in 2018.
I bet the deal still stands with Triple H. I don't know if Vince wants to talk to him, but I'm sure it stands with Triple H. That'll be very interesting to see if the Cowboy returns to Full Sail Arena. As we all know, on November 18th, a little less than 2 weeks away, NXT TakeOver War Games. The rules have been revealed. A little bit of a wrinkle on how the teams can win. All three teams will be contained inside of separate shark cages. Boy, they love them shark cages. By the entranceway. A member of each team, chosen by their respective squad, will start the match. After 5 minutes, remaining members from one team are released from their shark cage and allowed to enter the match. When another 3-minute period elapses, the remaining members from a second team are released from their shark cage. 3 minutes later, after that, the final team's members are released from their shark cage and enter the match, and you've got all 9 guys. Once all 3 teams have entered the War Games match, a victory can be attained by pinfall or submission. So teams can win via pinfall. There's no clear distinction as if there will be a roof over the cage at this point or not. What do you think of those little rules there, Matt?
A little weird, to be perfectly honest. I think they're trying to get too cute with it. But whatever.
Guarantee you the last team to enter, the team that's going to be stuck in that shark cage the longest is going to probably be AOP. You know, so either Akam or Razor will probably start the match, get beat down for the whole first 6 minutes of it, or 9 minutes of it, or whatever. Well, I guess it's a triple threat to start for 5 minutes, and then it becomes a beat. Well, it's 3-on-2, so it's not a complete beat down. It's still a handicap for 3 minutes, and then so it's only really a 3-minute period where there's a complete kind of imbalance. So, but very cool. We'll talk about the announcement from Regal once we get to last week's NXT. Some updates on the broken Matt Hardy trademark after being initially refused back in May. Matt Hardy submitted a new specimen, and that sounds
really. That's how you chose to word this.
That's how the article words it.
Well, you should have thought about it before you said it out loud.
Yeah, he went to the sperm bank and put in a new specimen for broken Matt Hardy and told Ed Nordholm to match this.
Oh my God.
And Hardy also added an IP lawyer based in Nashville, Tennessee to assist with the trademark. So that's where we're at right now on that. And Dixie Carter, last week, she posted on Twitter that she got back with the old TNA crew. And they're all...
Don't y'all miss me, honey?
And they're all like, yep. She's there with Borash and Storm and... was that Rockstar Spud?
Yeah, Spud was
no
there.
longer...
Who was already released.
Yeah, okay.
This fucking company.
To nobody's surprise, the tickets for the Manhattan Center, January 22nd, Raw's 25th anniversary.
I heard it was instant.
Instantly sold out.
I would never go to the show. I just wouldn't.
Why is that?
I would never go to this show.
Are you afraid that Vince would bring out Max Moon?
No, because I feel like whatever venue I chose to go to,
be the wrong one.
The people that I want to see are going to be at the other venue.
Yeah.
So when they're on, we're just going to be sitting in the dark, watching a fucking big screen.
Yeah.
Of what's going on in the other show. So then I ask myself, Self? Why didn't I just stay home and watch this for free? Like, honestly, like a 2-venue event, this is the ultimate stay-home show. There's no reason to go to this show if you're in the area. You get the best of both worlds from the comfort of your couch. It's going to be a big, it's going to be a big special event. Like, almost, you could invite friends over for this show and treat it like a pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's cool if you're watching it on... It's
going to be one of those fun type of shows that you can have, like, a group-friendly atmosphere for it. But there's no way that I would attend this show at either venue live.
Yeah, this is cool if you're watching on TV type of deal.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be really cool watching it from TV. But I do not think it's going to be cool.
No.
From the logic of, hey, all you dummies that are sitting here in the Manhattan Center, guess who's over here at Barclays? Watch them on the Tron. Idiots.
Did you say? Did you say dummy?
Oh God.
Dummy. Yeah. StubHub. I pulled up StubHub.
Oh God, I'm almost afraid to hear this.
The cheapest balcony seats.
Oh my
for
God.
this event.
I've sat in this balcony, dude. It's not very luxurious.
$323.97.
Oh,
single
God.
Single ticket. Okay, that's the cheapest, $323.97.
Oh my God.
The second cheapest is, I think, a worse ticket. I I don't know if it's a word. The second cheapest is $365. So you want to go to the floor, all right? You want to go to the floor, all right? That's $368.98. That's kind of cockeyed corner. You want to be facing camera. That would be E on the floor. All right. I'm still scrolling looking for something on E. $484.
Unbelievable.
Get you facing the camera at the Manhattan Center. So you can watch Max Moon and Shawn Michaels, Undertaker and Damien Demento relive the great matches they had 25 years ago. Just kidding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a much better watch on TV event.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is going to be a very fun event. Like, I feel WWE is going to put a lot of eggs into this basket.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is going to be a very, very fun show. And I think they're going to get the big promotional hype machine behind it. I think it's going to do a huge rating. I think it's going to be really big. But at the same token, I would never attend this event live. Like, as soon as they split it into two venues, I was just like, nope, not happening.
Some sad news for the NXT World 1. NXT talent was released this week. Sawyer Fulton announced that he's been released. Gave the message. A lot of feelings go through my head right now. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who supported me the last 5 years. Coaches, fans, brothers, family, and an amazing woman named Abby. This has been an amazing time in the WWE. After my injury, I worked as hard as possible to come back. It just happened to not work out. However, I'm not ashamed of being released by any means. I held nothing back at the end of the day. I'm happy to leave with my head held high. I'm going to continue to work hard as possible and learn all I can in wrestling. Nothing changes but the name. Sawyer Fulton, of course, was one of the original members of Sanity. Also, a promising tag team with Angelo Dawkins, who's now with the Street Profits, but unfortunately got injured early into Sanity's run.
Same mofo just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, injury early into Sanity's run, replaced by Killian Dane, and so there you go. Ric Flair. It's been announced that he'll be returning to Starrcade, the Starrcade event on Thanksgiving weekend in Greensboro, North Carolina. It has been announced that from Charlotte Flair herself that Rick will be there. Obviously, Starrcade, a lot of history in the NWA, Jim Crockett promotion.
I still can't believe we're talking about this glorified house show.
I know, it's not even going to be on the network.
So stupid.
Yeah,
such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, I read the reason why it's not going to be on the network is it doesn't benefit the WWE in the long term. Well, maybe it benefits the fans that want to fucking see it, Vince.
Yeah, and don't advertise it so hard worldwide if it's just for a local fucking market.
Yeah.
Like, how does this not benefit the WWE in getting more subscribers to the WWE network? Like, I don't understand that logic at all.
No, it's stupid. And the only reason why they're doing this whole Starrcade thing is because there was a bigger show in town at the time. So they had to trump the whatever it's called. I get WrestleCade or something, or I can't remember what was going on. There's some big event going on at the same time.
Like Legends of the Ring or something. I don't remember. WrestleCade. Might be WrestleCade.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember. All I know is it's a big like festival event. It's like an E3 type thing, but for wrestling. It's a convention. It's a big couple day convention, which they're gonna have actual matches at and stuff like that. So yeah, it just kind of sucks that WWE has to go in there and try to poop on their party. And none of us get to witness said pooping because, fuck us, right?
Yeah, pretty much. One While in the UK, Triple H made a surprising stop to ICW Insane Championship Wrestling with Pete Dunne. So that was pretty cool that Triple H stopped by there. Obviously, ICW has a little working relationship with the WWE in the UK division. The UK title has been defended on ICW shows as well. So, cool stuff there. New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced they will return to the United States March 25th of next year. They're going to be in Long Beach, California at the Walter Pyramid, a 5,000-seat venue on the campus of Long Beach State University. Santino Marella was backstage at Impact's Bound for Glory.
Apparently he was shown on the camera at one point in the crowd. Luckily Jim Cornette wasn't there.
Yeah. I heard about that. A source to Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, also said that they saw Tessa Blanchard, but not dressed to wrestle. So
probably just visiting.
Just visiting. Just pass and go. Just collecting.
Hi there.
So a lot of haters took Twitter on for Bound for Glory. I wonder why. And Moose responded to all the bloggers, reporters, and haters that speak bad about Impact Wrestling. Screw you guys. BFG was awesome. Absolutely proud of our roster. Suck the company dick a little more, Moose.
Screw you guys. I'm gonna. But if I refuse to believe that Moose can sit there with a straight face and be happy at this point in his career that he left Ring of Honor for this shithole. Like, I really refuse to believe that this is in any way truthful or accurate. Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. And Mike Johnson said he looked around and did not see anybody complain about the roster. They might have complained about the shit show that the roster had to be put through at the end, but
he says, look, the shithole that is TNA has nothing to do with their roster.
And how many times has Bully Ray said that? How many times has Bully Ray said that? You know?
Yeah, he's right. It's everything to do with the terrible people that run this company and the terrible creative team that continue to spoon feed spoonfuls of shit into people's mouth.
And who's on that creative team now?
Oh my god, I don't even fucking know. I have no idea, but clearly they're no better than what's come before it, because we saw what Bound for Glory provided. So,
at least my boy Eli Drake is still champion. If you cannot get yourself enough of Jericho, well, fear not, kids. Starting Friday, November 17th, Chris Jericho will have a new show on the Travel Channel called The Legend of. From the press release, 6-time world champion lead singer of Fozzy, Chris Jericho, is trading in his belt for a whole new challenge, unmasking the world's great mysteries. The Legend of, with Chris Jericho, premiering November 17th at 11 p.m. Eastern, follows Jericho as he brings his lifelong fascination for history's unexplained legends and the figures behind them to the small screen. Digging into the past, Jericho searches for answers that separate fact from fiction to find the true story behind the legend. That sounds like an interesting one there, Matt. I might give that a try.
Sounds all right. I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna have time to watch it.
Yeah, I know. If you're going to New Orleans, want a party, WWE is gonna give you a party.
Eh.
Well, at least I might go to the party. We'll see. One night before WrestleMania, tickets are available to the public. The WWE Universe members in the New Orleans area can score tickets to the Show of Shows, the official WrestleMania on sale party. Oh, this is going to happen soon. Never mind. I won't be there. This Thursday, Thursday, November 16th, there'll be a superstar autograph signing.
Yeah, you get down there and have that party in November, JB.
Yeah, no. I will have my party down there in April, but not in November. And by the way, there were a lot of. I just realized this one thing before we get to 205 Live. A lot of rumors of Hideo Itami debuting. That didn't happen, did it?
There were no rumors of him debuting tonight.
Oh, wasn't he? Just the fact that he was there?
No, not even the fact that he was there. It's the creative plan is to bring Hideo Itami to 205 Live, but not until after Survivor Series. Like, there were no plans in place to do it tonight or
I saw
next
reports
week or anything like that. Wherever you heard that was wrong.
I heard reports he was backstage.
No, he was not. No, Hideo Itami was not backstage. And Hideo will be being brought up to the 205 Live roster, but he's not. He wasn't there tonight, and they're not planning on doing it until after Survivor Series.
What do you think about that?
Depends on how they use him.
True.
If he's just being brought in to job to Enzo,
no.
I'm not. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not too thrilled. But if he comes in and beats Enzo and it takes the division to another level, then that'll be pretty cool. I mean, it's really going to wait and see. It's going to be a wait and see approach. And that's a problem because every time they put a big star talent in 205 Live, they end up quitting. So we'll see how this one works out.
One guy that will be backstage and will be on camera Monday from Atlanta, GA, Roman Reigns. It has been announced that Roman Reigns will return to Raw. He has been out since the steel cage match with Braun Strowman, where Kane returned, suffering the viral infection that's also kept out JoJo, Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas. So they have announced that Roman Reigns will be back. Of course, a lot of speculation before the announcement. A lot of people were speculating that he was going to be on the Survivor Series team to save Team Raw. They had then said Jason Jordan would be a Plan B. And, well, it looks like they went with Plan B and brought Roman back, as it appears the Shield will take on the New Day in what will be...
That's so obvious.
Yep. And, they thought internally WWE was thinking of possibly just holding Roman Reigns out, not rushing him back. But apparently everything is good, and he'll be good to go to return on Monday, reunite the Shield. I'm excited to see Shield and New Day promo. I think we're going to have a lot of fun on Monday and Tuesday.
To me, this was just another desperation Vince move to make people care about Survivor Series.
Reunite the Shield?
Since they didn't get to do it at TLC, he's like, well, we got to make people care about this show, so we have to take the tag titles off of Rollins and Dean so they can do something with Roman. Yeah. And I really feel like that's the only reason that it happened, was because they wanted to make sure that they could do the Shield as a trio on Survivor Series, and that will be, the Shield versus the New Day. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. The New Day haven't played the heels in ring for a very long time, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out, because they ain't going to be the ones getting cheered that night.
No.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somehow the Shield will be booed. I just don't see that though. Between that and Lesnar and AJ, I care a little bit more about the pay-per-view than I did 48 hours ago. But, I'm still not, I'm really not hyped.
Meltzer's speculating that Jordan's going to turn heel to cost Team Raw. Do you see that happening?
This early?
Well, it's been a failed experiment, so I kind of have to agree with Meltzer here. It's been a failed shit show. I mean, I saw live reports from the crowd on Monday when Jason Jordan was announced for the team. It was heavy fucking boos, but instead you got old school SmackDown piped in cheers. And that happened a couple times, and it happened on SmackDown a lot of times too. Like when Shane said Dana Bryan won't be here this week, or something like that. The crowd booed, but you heard a bunch of cheering. It's like, But do you think...
I see it more likely that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn cost SmackDown the match.
I think
because of KO and Sami Zayn.
I think the better story is SmackDown winning.
I don't. Not after the Under Siege shit. I feel Raw needs to win. I feel Raw is in a must-win situation after that.
I think the better story is the uncertainty around Kurt Angle with them losing. So I think it's a better story to have SmackDown win this. Yeah. And it's weird. It seems like
I feel it's got to be the exact opposite this year. I feel Raw has to win the women's match because you can't have Asuka. You better not fucking have Asuka lose in a fucking 5-on-5 elimination match. So the Raw women need to win, like the SmackDown women won last year, and like last year the SmackDown men won. The Raw men need to win this year. Like it needs to be a swap, and it's got to be. I still feel it should be KO and Sami Zayn costing SmackDown the win.
And if there's a shakeup,
and Shane can send them right to Raw.
Yeah,
with Jinder Mahal. I feel Jinder Mahal's on a one-way trip to the Red Brand right now.
Jinder Mahal in his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle tights. You tell me you did not see that when I pointed that out.
The Jobber Raja.
I'm waiting for him to take on Toka and Razar later on.
Yeah, they're just paying her busy.
Yeah, they are. On my DVR right now, as it just aired, Ric Flair's 30 for 30. Make sure to catch that. I think
I'll be watching that as soon as I'm off of this.
I don't know if I'll watch it tonight. I'm feeling if I watch it tonight, I probably won't want to fall asleep. I'll be just like, it's going to be it's going to be rainbows and candy canes. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotion on my timeline right now. Maybe I'll wait it out and watch it later this week. I don't know. My plan was to watch it when I got off of here. So
I guess the Raw rating didn't really drop that bad last week. I thought it did. It only dropped like 100.
No, it was nothing like what I told you, dude. It was nothing like what happened to SmackDown.
And this week, Raw rating, obviously, and we're recording on Tuesday, so obviously we don't have the SmackDown ratings, but Raw's ratings are in largely even from October 30th. They only lost about 13,000 viewers. Of course, their typical third-hour drop-off was still there as well. Stephen Amell is returning to wrestling, but for Ring of Honor. He's going to appear on November 17th at a Ring of Honor event in San Antonio, Texas. Of course, he's good friends with Cody, so makes complete sense to have Amell take part in a ROH event. I thought he did a phenomenal job on his SummerSlam appearance. God, what year was that even? 14?
A couple years ago.
15 maybe?
15 maybe. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Last week's NXT kicked off with Tainara Conti against Nikki Cross. Of course, this is a playoff of Conti costing Cross in her qualification match. And Matt, I really like the look of Tainara Conti. If she can put it together, I think she could be a big star in the company. I hope she does, Matt. What do you kind of see the same thing?
Yeah, she can only get better from here, right?
Yeah. Speaking of another guy getting better, Fabian Eichner, him and Johnny Gargano had themselves a hell of a match last week, and once again, playing Gargano, something's in his head apparently is what they're kind of playing here on NXT. Where a surprising loss to Fabian Eichner, I thought was a tremendous match between these two guys. And then it was announced that Gargano is taking on Pete Dunne in Houston, but not on TakeOver. Apparently it'll be the... Is that what you kind of got the feeling of it, Matt, where the television taping before the actual show type of deal?
That's my guess, because I don't really know where else they would have the time to record it.
Yeah. Kind of interesting how they're putting him in. Well, one, he's been losing matches lately, but two, the UK. Of course, obviously they're in the UK now, but maybe that's part of it. Vince realized he still has a UK division. Maybe, I don't know. That match will be amazing though. Fucking Pete Dunne and Gargano. But Eichner, man, I tell you what, he's definitely impressing. Apparently, we might have a new feud for Ember Moon after Takeover Houston, and it sounds like Mercedes Martinez wants to mix it up with her, and I think that'd be a pretty cool feud to see. William Regal is with Drew in the office. Drew signs the contract for Takeover Houston. Regal signs it as well. Then to be determined on Andrade Cien Almas showing up. Apparently, looks like we'll get a Street Profits and Sabatelli Moss feud. They did a little segment outside of Full Sail. They made it official. I don't know if this was making it official or if it already was announced, but Aleister Black will take on Velveteen Dream at TakeOver. As Drew makes his way to the arena, Almas attacks him from behind. And Zelina Vega wearing a lovely dress. And she gives the contract to Almas. He signs it, takes Vega's gum, and sticks the contract onto McIntyre. Matt, you're still not excited for this one. I think they'll give us a good match, but you're not excited for this one, are you?
Nope.
Our favorite iconic duo, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce. They're complaining about how Nikki stole Billy's spot in the match. And then they're making fun of Kairi Sane and talking about how Halloween was yesterday. And then Kairi walks up to them and kind of gives them a little scare. And Peyton had to hold Billy, had to hug her. Those two girls are awesome. And the main event for the NXT Tag Team Championships, Authors of Pain taking on Sanity, and this didn't end cleanly, did it, Matt?
Did you really expect it to?
No. Just as it looked like the Authors of Pain were going to regain their tag titles, the Undisputed Era come out and attack.
With a totally fucked up finisher, I might add.
And
I don't even think AOP connected on that clothesline.
Yeah, I don't know either. Killian Dane tried to come out and save them. Roderick Strong comes out, and Fish, O'Reilly, and Cole look like they're ready to fight, but Roddy says, "Hold on!" Pulls out the little elbow, little armband, puts it on, and they're oh yeah, we got our Ring of Honor buddies here together, and instead Strong attacks the Undisputed Era and stands tall with Akam and Razor. William Regal comes out and says it's time for some order and a takeover. It's going to be Sanity versus the Undisputed Era versus Roderick Strong in the House of Pain. Jump around.
Pain.
Authors of Pain in a triple
God.
threat match. But it's not going to be your normal triple threat match. It has to be a match so brutal we have not seen it in 20 years. There will be 2 rings. That popped the crowd. I think they kind of started figuring it out. Inside a steel cage, War Games, and that's the end of the show. I like the Full Sail pop on the announcement of War Games.
They did not pop at Roderick Strong not joining.
They booed him out of the building.
Yeah, they were not pleased, and I'm sure that was not the reaction that they were looking for.
No. And we were reading off the spoilers when they taped that, and we're like, how the hell is this coming about? Well, yeah, I think a lot of those guys that go to those tapings are probably the hardcores and watched Ring of Honor, and we're hoping for a stable of Ring of Honor guys, maybe. I don't know. I kind of wanted Roddy to join them, but at the same time, Roddy is a great babyface on his own too. So I was happy either way. Let's just say. Monday Night Raw from Manchester. They kick it off with offering their condolences to the victims and their families in the Sutherland Springs shooting that took place this past Sunday. As advertised, the show kicks off with Miz TV, Curtis Axel in a neck brace after Braun Strowman gave him, 5, 6 running power slams, Matt?
I don't know.
What did you think? What are you thinking about the Miz and Baron Corbin back and forth on social media? Cool? Meh?
Yeah.
I think it'd have packed more of a punch if it wasn't contained to social media.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe something happens this week. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, that's probably one the Miz gets cheered at, don't you think?
You would certainly think so.
Miz's guest is Kurt Angle. And here's where the old WWE logic gets thrown out the window. Angle tells Miz that he has his full support against Baron Corbin, then puts him in a match against Braun Strowman. Yes.
Do you really want me to try to explain this? Because why?
No,
okay.
Yeah. Why? That was an interesting loophole. So yeah, there you go. Miz's reaction once he found out was great. Looked like he was about to cry, and then he got on his hands and knees begging Angle to not put him in the match. So props to Miz for his reaction there. Vince Russo came back for the guitar on a pole match. Not. That's all I gotta say about that. Asuka killed a jobber, but this isn't just any jobber though. Stacey Coates is known as Isla Dawn, who's wrestling in the UK. She got a tryout. Not sure how the tryout went, but maybe well enough that they put her on TV. But in any fact, she was trained by a couple of interesting names, Mikey Whipwreck and Tommy End. You might know Tommy End by the name of Aleister Black. She's 23 years old, been wrestling for about 3 years, so she got killed by Asuka. Then, and what I heard was a fuck-up, live with the crowd, Alicia Fox got on the screen to say Asuka's a part of Team Raw. And apparently the audio wasn't even working as Asuka was going up the ramp. So I heard that they had to bring Asuka back out and walk up the ramp slowly so they could refilm that part.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, some people that I work with on Sportskeeda were in attendance. A couple of people that live in the UK were in attendance for the show. So that's how I found that out.
Weird.
Titus O'Neil said that Samoa Joe's in trouble. We all laughed. We all laughed because they made their entrance and Joe just killed Titus on the ramp. I mean, he's like, I don't need a match for this. And much like Braun Strowman and Kane, Joe wants some competition, so Finn Balor's music hits. And you didn't catch this one, though, did you, Matt? This was one of the bright spots of Raw.
Nope, didn't care. I've seen Finn versus Joe. Like, look, I'm happy that both guys got to do something on the main roster that didn't suck ass, but it wasn't enough to make me want to tune in to see it.
And double count out, they continue to brawl. Angle comes out and says, that's the kind of fire I need for my team. You're both on the team. And Joe and Balor get separated. Then Balor does this amazing, the height he got on this diving elbow was freaking insane. That was one of the highlights of Raw. That there's a lot of lowlights, but a few highlights. So, Miz is in the locker room with Axel and Dallas trying to do a pep talk, because believe, and basically just trying to hype up the Miz for his killing. Then they show Josh Reddick of the Houston Astros. Congrats to the Houston Astros for winning their first ever World Series championship. Josh Reddick outfielder, also played for the Athletics for a time. Big WWE fan, so they showed him holding the WWE Championship belt with the Astro little discs on them. Angle was in his office trying to get a hold of Daniel Bryan to apologize, but Daniel's not picking up the phone. Jason Jordan walks in. Angle gives his son a hug. And Angle says, this may be seen as favoritism, but I don't give a shit. I need people I can trust. Jordan, you're on the team. And I think Jordan's turning. I honestly think Jordan's turning heel here. Especially with that line, Angle goes, I need people I can trust. I just think that's what's going to happen. So obviously one of us is going to be right and one of us is going to be wrong next week on our predictions, huh?
You're basically saying that it's going to be the exact same shit that happened last year. If you're picking SmackDown to win, and that's the same thing that happened last year.
Yeah, I don't know. It just makes more sense for me. I get your point where Raw must overcome the Under Siege, but I don't know.
And what's the point of the whole KO and Sami Zayn not being used on the show? You don't think they're not going to have some kind of impact or involvement in Survivor Series?
I think they might, but I think they'll...
It should be in that match. It should be in the match that Shane McMahon is in.
Yeah.
That's their whole storyline is Shane McMahon. So if they don't come out and cost Shane McMahon the Survivor Series, then this whole storyline was meant for nothing. Like, seriously, fuck Jason Jordan. I don't fucking care. Like, if Jason Jordan disappeared off the face of the earth tomorrow, I wouldn't care about this storyline or anything else that they're doing with it. I don't care if he's going to turn heel. I don't care what they're doing with Kurt. He's already back in the ring. The whole entire storyline point was to get him back in the ring to begin with is now useless. It doesn't matter anymore. The whole Jason Jordan storyline was a complete and utter failure, and I don't need to fucking see anything revolving around Jason Jordan in this match. He should be in there. He should take a fucking Kinshasa from Shinsuke Nakamura, and he should be gone in 5 seconds. That's all the longer we should see Jason Jordan in this match next week.
Jason Jordan aside, I've still thought that Team Raw's going to lose. Jason Jordan aside, but
no, that's not the way Vince books things. For Raw not to retaliate from the Under Siege and then to go in and lose. That's not how Vince books his baby brand.
What if they retaliate on Tuesday and do the same thing that happened to them 3 weeks prior? Would you then change your tune?
Is there a Raw house show next Tuesday night? Because if there is, it's not happening.
Yeah, good point.
You know, that's why this whole thing doesn't matter, because if there's a Raw house show next Tuesday, there will be no Under Siege on SmackDown because they need those fucking talents at the fucking live event. So Raw looks like a bunch of pussies who never came back to get their revenge on SmackDown, and then they go to the pay-per-view and they lose too. It can't. Raw needs to win. They have to win. Raw needs to win both matches, the men and the women's Survivor Series matches.
Well, one of us is going to be right. One of us is going to be wrong.
Because there's no way SmackDown can win the women's match next Sunday.
No.
Because by Asuka being in that match, you immediately negate any chance that Raw should lose that match.
Well, and before what happened on SmackDown, I thought it was going to come down to Asuka and Charlotte.
Well, we don't know about that anymore.
Yep.
But I just they can't fucking do it. They can't.
I think they're gonna go. I just think they're gonna go with the Kurt Angle fails. I just think they're going that route. I think Sami. So
we're gonna have to have fucking Stephanie McMahon on our TV every week again after Survivor Series. Kurt's gonna be a full-time talent now. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see any of that shit.
Your brand new general manager, Triple H.
This is the kind of garbage that makes me want to stop watching. Like the logic loopholes that make me want to take my head and slam it to a fucking wall. This is the kind of shit, the main reasons I don't want to fucking watch anymore, because their product doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just the feeling I get.
You're out of your damn mind.
Bayley and Banks against Jackson Fox. We talked about this a little earlier, where Banks makes Fox tap out, and Fox gets on the mic and says that she needs Sasha. Bossy Banks. And then basically no-sells Bayley. Yep, you're not on the team. So that's why I think Bayley will have a match with Alicia Fox and beat the shit out of her, and then that turns to that. Strowman and Miz. If you didn't see this one coming, well, you're blind. Strowman beat the shit out of Miz for about 5 minutes before Kane comes out, and they stare each other down. And Kane no-sells a running power slam and lands on his feet, which is impressive that a guy that's 50 years old can land on his feet when he gets clotheslined over the top rope. But and I know why Vince is doing this. He just sees Kane as this unstoppable brand, not, forget about the fact that it's a 50-year-old man under the mask that's running for mayor. Vince sees Kane as Kane from 1998 still, so that's why we're getting this. Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose interviewed by Renee Young, and talking about their the unexpected having to defend their titles against Sheamus and Cesaro on Raw after they went and complained to the general manager. And I guess you didn't see this one, Matt, but a funny part was the Shield did their pose and with their fists and left, and then after they leave, Renee puts her fist out. I thought that was kind of funny, kind of cute. She's basically rooting on her husband. Go Shield. Enzo Amore comes out and talks, because that's what Enzo does. Kalisto comes out, and he's sitting on a chair by the ring, and Enzo's like, "What are you doing?" And that's when Pete Dunne comes out. That was a nice little surprise. Big pop for Pete Dunne, the United Kingdom champion. And Angle comes out and says that it's going to be the cruiserweight against the bruiserweight. And so Pete Dunne against Enzo Amore. Went about 4 minutes. Dunne hits his bitter end for the victory. Pretty cool moment, though. Nice little pop for Pete Dunne there. Next up is before the main event. They announced on 205 Live that the UK division's been invited. So they'll show up on 205 Live. It's time for our Raw Tag Team Champions main event for Monday Night Raw. And I thought this was a pretty cool match, but I don't know. Were you surprised? I mean, I was absolutely surprised that New Day came out in costume. Were you completely surprised when you heard Big E's voice?
Well, I didn't hear Big E's voice. I read the spoiler results.
Okay. Well, you watched it, though. You did watch this match. I tuned into the
last few minutes. I didn't watch the match. I tuned into the last few minutes till I know when I can send out the tweet. And when I knew Roman Reigns was returning the following week, and I knew the New Day cost Rollins and Ambrose the titles, it all made perfect sense as to why they did it. When booking makes sense, it works out, and this booking made sense. They're reuniting the Shield for the Survivor Series. They had to get the titles off of them because Roman involved with the Shield against the Usos doesn't make any damn sense. So they're going to do the New Day and the Shield at Survivor Series. To me, that just makes sense.
And it's going to be awesome.
Honestly, there's a chance they could steal the show.
Yeah. As New Day was up on the where the Shield usually come in, the entire Raw locker room heads to the arena. They surround the ring. They're thinking it's under siege again, and Kofi goes, "Psych!" Or I think Xavier actually said pump fake.
Yeah, he said pump fake.
And in all of the confusion, Sheamus hits a bro kick on Seth Rollins. Cesaro pins Ambrose against the apron, so he cannot make the save. And after 19 minutes of main event match, your new and 3-time Raw Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro. So they'll face the Usos and New Day and Shield. So some fresh matchups because, well, as Matt said, Vince is panicking, right?
Yeah, well, let's hope he doesn't panic too hard to forget what logic dictates for our fucking storyline for a fucking Survivor Series.
We're recording during 205 Live, so we didn't get a chance to watch 205 Live. But the United Kingdom division shows up there. A very long opening segment of Enzo talking. Kalisto took on Jack Gallagher. Mark Andrews, remember him from Impact. Him and Cedric Alexander teamed up to take on James Drake and James Connors. And then the main event was Enzo Amore and Tyler Bate in a non-title match. This stemmed from Tyler Bate showing Enzo what Bip and Bop were when Enzo was running his mouth earlier. So check out the UK division. I thought clearly it still may happen, Matt. I thought this was going to lead to maybe a 5-on-5 on the kickoff show, UK and 205 Live elimination match. You think maybe they might go that route?
No, the only reason they used the UK talents this week is because they were over in the UK.
They're
not going to fly them all over to Survivor Series to use them in a meaningless pre-show match.
Yeah.
To me, that's just on a company that's trying to cost cut and earn money in every corner that they can right now. To do that would just wouldn't make any damn sense. Like the only person that we know for sure that's going to be there that weekend's Pete Dunne because he's fighting Gargano, But other than that, I don't see them flying them in for a pre-show match.
SmackDown Live, except not live, and once again, yeah, and once again we get bad visions of piped in crowds from when it was on Thursdays and Fridays. God, they were terrible. Whoever piped in that crowd on the taping, terrible job. Terrible. Shane O'Mac kicks it off, talks about how SmackDown's not going to be the B show, they'll be the show. Holds Kurt and Stephanie responsible for what Kane did to Daniel Bryan. He said Daniel Bryan will be back next week. That caused boos that I saw from the live. You want to know how SmackDown beats Raw at Survivor Series? If the fifth man on Team SmackDown is Daniel Bryan. Oh my God, I'd fall out of my chair. If Daniel Bryan returns to SmackDown next week and they announce him as the fifth guy for Team SmackDown and he's on the team, SmackDown wins. Because they're not going to put Daniel Bryan back in the ring to lose. No. So if Daniel Bryan comes out to SmackDown next week and gets fired up and says, I want to be the fifth man on the team, and they do that storyline and they put Bryan in that match, then SmackDown wins. What are the odds of that happening? I don't know what the odds of it happening are, but it's the only excusable reason that I would give them for SmackDown winning that match after they've made SmackDown look the way that they've looked. Like, the Raw's really going to look like a bunch of bitches for losing that match after, being bitch slapped for that Under Siege thing and then losing afterwards. Raw's going to look really bad, and I still find it really hard to believe that Vince would do that to his quote-unquote flagship show. But if Daniel Bryan's getting back in the ring for this match, then SmackDown's winning. Yeah, and like I said, I think Vince is not looking at it as it's his baby brand. He's looking at it as, it's a story surrounding Kurt Angle is in failing. So I don't know. I just think SmackDown's going to win it. New Day comes out and Shane congratulates them for the distraction that they caused, and They get interrupted by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. After Shane started dancing awkwardly with the New Day. And I thought it was hilarious that when the New Day were mocking Sami Zayn's dancing. I thought that was pretty funny. And then Xavier calling Sam Zayn. Now I'm gonna think of Sam Zayn now from now on. So thanks, Xavier. So Owens and Zayn complaining, and Owens called the New Day puppets that sing and dance with Shane, and Kingston says the only puppet he sees is the paper boy and never been to a gym, Sam Zayn, and Big E says Owens' hand is so far up Zayn's butt that every time Zayn brushes his teeth, Owens gets a manicure. Hilarious joke. This leads to Shane McMahon giving us our first match, Kofi Kingston against Sami Zayn. Matt, what were your thoughts on the opening segment with Shane, the New Day, Zayn, Sam Zayn, and Kevin Owens?
I felt it went entirely too long to get to the point where we needed to get to do that match. It felt really dragged out, to be perfectly honest. It was fine for what it was. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. And I just felt as an opening segment, I felt it was just a bit too long.
I thought Big E's joke was fucking hilarious, though. And them mocking Sami Zayn's dancing, I thought that was good, too. Zayn and Kofi go for about 10 minutes. Nice, decent little match there to open SmackDown Live. After Kofi defeats Sam Zayn, Kevin Owens gets some punches in.
Stop calling him that.
Nope. Before the New Day chase off Owens. Jinder Mahal, interviewed by Renee Young. Mahal talks about how Styles has disrespected him and said that Styles is the appetizer for his entree, that is Brock Lesnar. Yeah, good luck on that. Another promo for the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm guessing they probably debut after Survivor Series. Hopefully.
Yeah, there's no reason to debut them now. There's no room for them on the show. So
no, but God, how many more vignettes do we need?
Logic would dictate one more. And then they can say they could do one more next week, say Bludgeon Brothers next week on SmackDown Live, and they bring them in after the pay-per-view. They can finally start that feud with the Fashion Police.
Aiden English in the ring, introducing his new best friend, the Lion of Bulgaria. It's time to enjoy Rusev Day. I would sing, but I don't know if I can get that out after talking for 2 hours right now. I like Aiden English, so good stuff there. I'll always enjoy it. And Matt, every day is Rusev Day, isn't it?
Poor Rusev.
Yeah, poor Rusev. RKO out of nowhere, 7 minutes into the match. Rusev is not on Team SmackDown, so there's still an opening. And if Matt's idea happens, I'm going to fall out of my chair. I'm going to enjoy it. James Ellsworth outside the women's locker room told Tamina to go get Carmella, but instead Becky Lynch comes out and Ellsworth does his men are better than women speak, and all ahead of the Ellsworth against Becky Lynch intergender match that is coming up next. And Naomi, Charlotte Flair, Lana Tamina, all surrounding the ring because they want to see Ellsworth get the sheet beat out of him. And that's basically what happened. I thought it was kind of a fun little comedy match, though. I thought, I thought it was fun for what it was, Matt. I don't know what you thought about it, but
it was fine. WWE never does intergender matches, so the only hope of them doing something like that is if they do it on a more regular basis. Maybe we can get that in 2K19 next year.
Hey, I got it in 2K18.
Yeah, but you weren't supposed to.
Yeah. Apparently that was the unicorn.
That used to be my ultimate insult to the person I was playing. It used to. Like back in like the days of like Here Comes the Pain and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm so much better than you. I can beat you with a diva. Because the stats were so far beyond between those, like the men and the women in those games. Like if you weren't really good at the game, you weren't beating a man with a woman. And I would actually use that as a challenge, and I would beat other people, with a diva.
Because the women would be rated in like the low 70s and the men would be high 80s.
Yeah, like I don't remember the way they were rated back in the day. I don't think they were rated in overalls like that. I think they were rated in a different way, but they were definitely rated like very far away from each other. And I would beat people with the divas in the game, and embarrass them that way. So I would love to see that back. I mean that's a perfect, bragging point. Online, honestly, like, yeah, I beat you with a girl. I loved being able to do that back in the day. I thought that was a very fun aspect of the game. And all fighting games have men versus women. Like every single one. It's not that big of a deal. And there's intergender wrestling all over the independents. It was just on WWE TV tonight. Like I don't see a reason why this is something that couldn't be done in the video game next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it probably maybe came from Vince or somebody corporate that says, "Oh, we don't want this on social media." Some guy beating up a woman, and we get back. That's just my guess is why that's not. That's just my guess.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So it's a video game, man.
I know. I'm just saying what I think is going
on. I'm not arguing with you. You're probably right. I just think it's ridiculous.
Shane McMahon in his office talking with Charlotte Flair, and Natalya interrupts and bragging about how she'll beat Alexa Bliss, and Shane goes, "Well, I wasn't really a fan of you using that chair against Charlotte at Hell in a Cell. So you're going to defend your title next week against Charlotte on SmackDown, which is in Charlotte, North Carolina, by the way, her hometown. Winner faces Alexa Bliss. So, is it a hometown screw job that the WWE likes to do, or are they going to give us a better match with Alexa versus Charlotte? Matt, what do you think?
It feels like WWE is really starting to go in the direction of trying to turn these matches into faces versus heels. They even teased the fact that they might have, quote-unquote, injured the Usos tonight. And if the Usos are injured, oh no, I guess that means Gable and Benjamin will have to face a Sheamus and Cesaro at the pay-per-view, or something like that. It feels like they're trying. They realize these heel versus heel matches that they've put together, nobody gave a fuck about, and they're trying to change it up to make people interested. I would be a lot more interested in Charlotte versus Bliss than I am in Bliss versus Natalya. And it's no offense to Natalya. It's just I'd be much more interested in seeing Bliss and Charlotte. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, I would not be surprised to see yet another title change next week. And I still think that, unfortunately for Charlotte, I still think there's a cash-in happening in Survivor Series. Like whether it's Natalya or whether it's Charlotte, I feel Carmella is leaving Survivor Series with the SmackDown's Women's Championship. So
I think that'd be some good timing. And a good segue to our tag team title match. It didn't go too long, only about a couple minutes, but obviously, it's so weird. The Usos are hyping up the crowd for the hot tag.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And Chad Gable does the same chop block that took him out by the Usos a year ago. So Gable doing a heel move, Usos hyping up the crowd. I
did like Gable doing that though, because to me it was actually touching upon an old storyline, and it was a receipt from Gable to the Usos, who did that to him on countless occasions. Like I didn't see that as a heel thing. I saw that as getting revenge. So yeah, like I don't know how you want to take that. Like nobody can tell me that the Usos are good guys right now. Like I can't stand those motherfuckers.
I thought their promo to the ring tonight was good. I liked their opening promo that led to the attack.
I think honestly, I think all their promos are terrible.
I think they're getting better at it. And we already got a stacked fucking go home show for SmackDown next week. Baron Corbin, Sin Cara for the U.S. title, Natty and Charlotte for the women's title, and the New Day take on Owens and Zayn. So already a stacked go home show. That's going to be fun, I think, in Charlotte, North Carolina. AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal. Went about 17 minutes. I thought this was it's probably a lot to do with AJ, but I thought Jinder had a good match with AJ here. Matt, what did you think?
Jinder's best match with the title was his last, as it should be.
He was going for the Super Colossus. That's two words I never thought I'd be saying together. But Styles with a sweet cutter off the top rope to hang Mahal's neck across the rope. And that set up the phenomenal forearm, which in slow motion looked phenomenal. 1, 2, 3, gigantic pop from the Manchester crowd as your new WWE champion for the second time in his career, AJ Styles.
The best part of the celebration afterward was Jinder Mahal beating the shit out of the Singh brothers.
Oh my God!
I was laughing so hard.
He slapped them like they were his stepchildren.
He beat the shit out of those two.
Wow. And they sold it too.
I thought that was funny. That made me laugh. So
that was good. Obviously the internet exploded this afternoon when that.
Oh yeah, like if you were on the internet today, you knew ahead of time that this title change happened. I tried to warn people off social media, but I know a lot of people saw it anyway. So,
well, it doesn't help when Bleacher Report goes breaking title changes hands. Well, there were 2 title matches, but yeah, you kind of knew which title was going to change hands more than the other.
Yeah, honestly, I hated the way WWE worded their tweet. It's like breaking title change at SmackDown tonight. Spoilers. Read at your own risk or whatever the fuck it was with the link. And WWE, there's an easier way you can put it. Breaking. WWE SmackDown spoilers from the UK. Read at your own risk with the link.
Or shocking spoilers.
No, you don't even need to use the word shocking. Just breaking. WWE SmackDown Live spoilers from the UK. Here's the link. If you click on it, it's on you. We already told you it was spoilers. But at least at that point, people that don't want to click on it aren't going to be spoiled that the title changed hands. So people get really pissy about that stuff, man. Yeah. Spoilers, serious business.
So Raw was okay. There were some great moments, but there was also some complete shit moments. I thought SmackDown overall was enjoyable.
Solid, yeah. I thought SmackDown was solid.
Congrats to our boy AJ for being a 2-time WWE champion now, and now that's step 1 in our WrestleMania wish list. Hopefully step 2 happens when Shinsuke Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble. So let's close the show out, Matt, with AJ and Brock. Hopes for the match, and what is Vince going to do? Is he going to piss us off, or is he going to give us a no contest that a champion versus champion match like this should have?
I think Jinder Mahal cost AJ the match.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'd rather have somebody interfere and cost him the match than him lose clean. Mm-hmm. Let him have a good back and forth match for five minutes. I won't even say 10, because I don't think Brock Lesnar's capable of having a 10-minute match anywhere other than WrestleMania. So a good back and forth 5-minute match. Have it look like Styles could win. Maybe he's on the apron, hit the phenomenal forearm, and Jinder comes in out of the crowd and trips him up when Heyman's distracting the ref, and tosses AJ back in the ring to eat an F5 or something along those lines. As long as it's not clean, I don't have a problem with Styles losing to Lesnar. I have a problem with is that the match is completely clean and Lesnar beats AJ with one F5.
Yeah.
That I'm going to have a major problem with. And at that point, if that happens, you might be looking for a new co-host because I might be done watching the product at that rate. Like, seriously, I'm on my wit's end with the WWE right now. And if they infuriate me with Survivor Series, I might be done with their product for a bit afterwards. So, just warning you ahead of time.
I can see Jinder celebrating with Lesnar, and Lesnar's like, "Oh yeah, you think I forgot what you said about me?" And F5's the shit out of Jinder.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
All right, that does it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with our preview show, our go-home show for Survivor Series next week. And thanks to SpiderDuck.net for being our host, enabling us to be on iTunes and any of your favorite podcasting apps. Make sure you search for Lost in the Midcard. If you've already done so, tell your friends and family to do so. And that way you know every time a new episode comes your way every Thursday and most Mondays after a WWE pay-per-view. You can subscribe to us on YouTube as well. The links to all that are on our Facebook page, facebook.com/lost. In the Midcard, go to the notes section there. We're also on the Twitter. Share a lot of the great tweets from the wrestling world. Go to @LITMC Podcast for that. And Matt's on the Twitter at Raw Showtime. I am on the Twitter at JB Huskers. Give us a follow as well. And Matt, before we right off into the sunset, and hey, guess what, Matt? Our Survivor Series Go Home show, our preview show, is going to be episode 150.
By God.
What are your final thoughts?
I hope Survivor Series doesn't turn me off from WWE for a while, because it has a very great chance to do so. So,
if you don't want us going on hiatus, you better root for a dirty finish. Even though we just made fun of TNA for a dirty finish.
Yeah, but that's not going to be their main event. Lesnar and
I'm
Styles
not defending them.
Lesnar and Styles are not going to close Survivor Series. It's going to be the Raw and SmackDown match that's going to close the show.
I know. I wasn't defending TNA here. You know this man.
Certainly sound like you were defending TNA.
I don't think any lawyer would want to take that case up. For Matt Black, this is Jeremy Bennett. Thank you for tuning in to Lost in the Midcard. We'll catch you next week.